In 1966, the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency classified a 284-page document pertaining to the existence of several historical and archaeological anomalies around the world, including that of the pyramids of Egypt and the Baalbek megalithic structure of Lebanon. The file, which was finally declassified in 2013, was released to the public in a heavily redacted format of just 57 pages long. The age of these structures goes back thousands of years, with the Baalbek area estimated 9,000 years old. Why would it be considered a threat to modern times? Could it be related to their construction, and who or what built it, and what could eventually destroy us all? Welcome to Lebanon's Beirut, a city some would say is the coolest and most lit location in the Levant, the party capital of the Middle East. However, this city is also close to one of the most mysterious locations in the Middle East, a place so mysterious that the CIA classified a document regarding its origins and destruction. But before we discuss why, let's discuss what it is. About 60 miles outside of Beirut is the ancient Baalbek temple complex, an anomalous site that is believed to date back to the Canaanite period and was probably a site for the worship of the Canaanite god Baal. The Canaanites were people who lived in the land of Canaan, an area that according to ancient texts may have included parts of modern-day Palestine, Lebanon, Syria, and Jordan. In addition to the construction carried out by the Greeks and Romans, signs of which are still evident from the site, as part of the ancient temple ruins, the mystery comes from the earlier temple platform that appears to be constructed with technology that should not have been available at that time. This older part of the temple was constructed using giant megaliths weighing at least 800 tons each, with the blocks originating from a nearby limestone quarry. Here, the German Archaeological Institute, in partnership with the Lebanese University, recently discovered what they're calling the largest stone block from antiquity, weighing 1,650 tons. How these blocks were cut and moved to the main temple site with the technology available at the time is yet to be scientifically explained. There are many local legends about the origin of the temple. Some say Prophet Adam's son Cain built it to hide from the wrath of God. Some say giants built it at Nimrod's command, and it came to be called the Tower of Babel. And some say Solomon built it with the jinn's assistance as a palace for the Queen of Sheba. Today, modern pseudoscientists state that the area may be located within specific geomagnetic energy fields, where resonant electromagnetic energy was harnessed to erect the structure, a theory that has also been linked to the construction of Egypt's pyramids. Advocates of these theories propose the possibility that Baalbek may be situated along a special energy field due to quartz contained beneath the surface of the earth, creating a form of anti-gravity energy, for use of a better term, to possibly aid in the construction of the Baalbek monoliths. However, the most famous fringe explanation for this anomalous site comes from the late Zecharia Sitchin, a polarizing and controversial theorist who popularized the notion that ancient alien deities from Iraq's Sumerian history had a central hand developing early human civilization. His opinions have been jointly associated with that of Graham Hancock, a British writer and journalist known for his pseudoscientific theories involving ancient civilizations. Both him and Sitchin propose that the Baalbek site is much older than is generally accepted, and perhaps even alien in origin. According to Hancock, the level of engineering needed for the construction of this site simply could not have been accomplished by the Canaanites, Romans, nor the Greeks. Therefore, an earlier, more advanced lost civilization with the necessary technology was probably responsible for Baalbek, Although Hancock is wisely vague on exactly who or what constructed Baalbek, Sitchin specifically states that the answers rest in the Epic of Gilgamesh. According to Sitchin, in the Epic of Gilgamesh, King of Uruk embarked on a quest for immortality that took him to Baalbek so he could board a rocket to planet Nibiru, home of the Anunnaki gods. To learn more about Nibiru, watch our previous episode. A link can be found in the description below. According to Sitchin, Gilgamesh witnessed rockets being launched from Baalbek and within this poem, and for this reason, he argues that Baalbek was actually an ancient Anunnaki spaceport. This would explain the use of the massive platform stones, and also resolve the question of the source of the technology required to build the site using such massive stone blocks. The center of this theory is the archeological anomaly known as Trilithon, otherwise known as the Temple of Jupiter. This site measures at 88 by 48 meters, where on one side of its podium there are 3 gigantic stones, hence its namesake. The ancient alien theory posits that this platform, over which the Romans erected their temple, was once a landing pad for spacecrafts that aliens used while visiting our planet. The Trilithon forms a part of the foundation, and to this date, archaeologists have not been able to correctly assign their construction to any known civilization. There are no sites that mirror Baalbek, and there are no historical references to this engineering anomaly in Roman texts. Now, while many theorists, including those who believe in ancient aliens, believe that Zechariah Sitchin was not as proficient in reading and interpreting ancient Sumerian texts as he claimed to be, it should be noted that he was not the originator of the claim that Baalbek served as an extraterrestrial spaceport. It was actually the Soviet mathematician Mattia Agrest who first proposed in 1959 that the Trilithon at Baalbek had been created by extraterrestrials as a launch pad for their rockets. Agrest also claimed that the events of the Book of Genesis, particularly the devastation of Sodom and Gomorrah, were the result of alien intervention and nuclear warfare, the latter of which we discuss in detail in an earlier episode. Aside from aliens, a more palatable explanation for the site's existence is the work of an ancient civilization, either consisting of giants or super advanced humans. Who or what this civilization is remains a mystery, but maybe clues left in Lebanese Maronite as well as pre-Islamic Arab tradition and literature can be found. According to Lebanese tradition, the earliest temples built in Baalbek were constructed after the Great Flood by a race of giants for the biblical king Nimrod. Nimrod is considered by many Christians to be a giant, with even the philosopher Saint Augustine of Hippo writing in the City of God that Nimrod was a post-flood giant and that he ordered the construction of the Tower of Babel. Apparently, in Arabian folklore, Nimrod attempted to ascend to heaven on a bird, failed, and his broken body fell onto Mount Hermon, coincidentally, the same place where the Watchers fell. In the Book of Enoch, the Watchers were angels dispatched to earth to watch over us humans. They soon began to and then in a mass defection, seduced many of them in order to procreate with them. In his book, Gods of the New Millennium, Alan Alford says, this understanding of Baalbek comes from an Arabic manuscript found at the site. In the text it reads, after the flood, when Nimrod reigned at Libanus, he sent giants to construct the fortress of Baalbek, which was named in honor of Baal, the god of the Moabites and worshippers of the sun. Now the descendants of the Watchers of the Nephilim, the hybrid titan offspring of these fallen angels and human women. While in Islam, we do not believe in the existence of the Nephilim as explained in the Book of Enoch. We do believe in the existence of jinn, for which many Muslim and even non-Muslim fringe theorists believe are the real Nephilim. The jinn are a mortal but non-corporal species of intelligent life, but they could also be behind the development of Baalbek. According to some Muslim academics, Baalbek was once the home of Prophet Abraham and then later of Solomon. As mentioned earlier on this episode, as a possible explanation for its anomalous construction, that Prophet Solomon has been theorized as the actual architect of this site, and with the jinn's assistance, built it as a palace for the Queen of Sheba. In the middle of the site is the monolith Hajar al-Hibla, or the Stone of the Pregnant Woman in English. Together with another ancient stone block nearby, it is among one of the largest monoliths ever dug up, and it's believed to have gotten its name from the legend that pregnant jinn were assigned the task of cutting and moving the stone. Ultimately, however, as with the case of the ancient alien theories, there is no evidence that can prove one way or the other that either jinn or aliens were responsible for the construction of this site. Although on a rather disturbing note, it is understood that including child sacrifice took place as a form of worship to the god Baal at the Baalbek temple, a practice that is essentially demonic. This takes us back to the CIA's interest in this ancient site, and the most plausible and scientific explanation for its existence, but also its darkest. In 1965, a mysterious author penned the work, The Adam and Eve Story. In it, the author Chan Thomas details the mysterious construction of a number of anomalous megaliths around the world in a manner that supports the hypothesis that it was not aliens or even jinn that constructed these incredible sites, but humans after all. The work quickly came to the attention of the Central Intelligence Agency, who classified it for nearly 50 years because of the conclusion it came to. In it, those humans who constructed Baalbek and the pyramids of Egypt, as well as megalithic sites around the globe, were part of a technologically advanced society on par with where we are today, or even beyond. Unfortunately, this civilization that could have been global in scale were wiped from existence within less than a day due to one or more cataclysmic events. It is theorized that the reason why this document was classified is because within these ancient sites holds evidence that another world-ending instance is due to take place soon. The document itself notes several examples of instances in both religious and mythical historical events where a cataclysmic occurrence, like a pole shift, could result in a situation where the nights become abnormally long, or as in Peruvian mythology, where the sun literally stood still. Or most intriguingly, in the legends from primitive man in Tierra del Fuego in South America, where for at least one day, the sun set in the wrong direction. These are all descriptions of a cataclysmic event that could be triggered by a magnetic anomaly which can affect the motion of the Earth, when seen from the perspective of someone experiencing it. Although not included within this document, there is a prophecy within Islamic belief that states that in the last days to come, the sun would rise in the east and set in the west. This in itself does not end the world, but is merely a sign. So could it perhaps be a literal reference of things to come? In the previous episode, we spoke about Nibiru's potential cataclysmic impact on Earth, where several of you have noted in the comment section that if a rogue brown dwarf planet did move in close proximity to our Earth, it could possibly cause unforeseen gravitational geological disturbances that could give the impression from our perspective that the motion of the Earth is distorted, such as witnessed by our ancestors in Peru and Latin America. However, written in 1965, at the height of the Cold War, it is understandable why such censorship would take place, as a work of non-fiction designed for mass consumption that speaks of the end of the world would only fuel the anxiety of a planet already on the edge of destruction. It is most likely that whatever is written in this text is just another example of pseudoscience passing itself of a science fact. However, it is still disconcerting that it was classified, and that till this day, only a small fragment of it has been released. What other secrets about the world's ancient megaliths, like that in Latin America, Egypt and Lebanon, could still be hidden in this paper, and has yet to be declassified? In the next episode, we will look at the destruction of another ancient civilization hinted at in this The Adam and Eve Story, and examine new evidence of whether remnants of it has been found in Syria and Cyprus in modern day, and if that lost kingdom was ever home to actual giants. Till then, if the world does not end between now and then, consider subscribing, press the notification bell twice, and consider supporting this channel's growth on Patreon. Thanks for watching.